Reality is not what you think you're looking at. Everything you see right now, this room, this screen, your own hands, is a lie your brain tells you for convenience. What you're actually looking at is mostly empty space. The chair you're sitting on is 99.999% nothing, held together by forces you can't see, obeying rules you were never taught to question. Your eyes don't show you reality, they show you a translation, a cartoon built for survival, not truth. The colors you see don't exist outside your skull, they're your brain's guesswork about wavelengths of light. If that doesn't unsettle you a little, you haven't really understood it yet. The universe doesn't owe you a picture that makes sense, it just is what it is, whether or not it matches the movie playing in your head. Certainty is the most dangerous feeling a mind can have. The moment you feel completely sure about something, you've stopped thinking. Certainty feels good. That's exactly why it's dangerous. Every great mistake in history was made by someone who was absolutely certain. Real understanding lives in doubt, in the uncomfortable space where you admit you might be wrong. Science isn't a collection of facts, it's a method for not fooling yourself, and you are the easiest person in the world to fool. The people who discovered the deepest truths about the universe were the ones willing to say, "I don't know," out loud, in public, without shame. Not knowing isn't weakness. Pretending to know is. Matter is basically a rumor. Solid objects aren't solid. Zoom in far enough and the table becomes atoms. The atoms become mostly empty space, and the tiny particles inside stop behaving like particles at all. They start behaving like probabilities, like maybe they're there, maybe they're not. Nobody fully understands why. The universe at its smallest scale doesn't play by the logic your brain evolved to expect. Two things can be in two places at once. A particle can affect another instantly across vast distances, for reasons nobody can fully picture. This isn't science fiction. This is what happens every single second, inside every atom in your body, right now, while you sit there feeling solid. Understanding means you can explain it to a child. If you can't explain an idea in plain words, you don't actually understand it. You've only memorized the vocabulary. Big words are often used to hide small understanding. The deepest ideas in the universe, gravity, energy, time, can all be explained without jargon, because true understanding strips away complexity instead of hiding behind it. Anyone who needs $10 words to sound smart is usually covering for the fact that they never truly grasped the idea themselves. Simplicity isn't the opposite of intelligence, it's the proof of it. The next time someone can't explain their expertise, simply ask yourself if they even understand what they claim to know. Curiosity is more powerful than authority. You were taught to trust the textbook, the teacher, the expert. But the biggest leaps in human understanding happened when someone looked at an accepted fact and asked a simple, almost childish question: why? Authority tells you what to think. Curiosity teaches you how to think. A title, a degree, a position of power, none of that guarantees truth. The universe has never once cared about someone's credentials. It only responds to careful observation and honest questioning. The most dangerous words in any field aren't "I don't know," they're "trust me, I'm the expert," said by someone who stopped asking questions years ago. The universe doesn't need your approval to be strange. You want reality to make sense, to be neat, to follow the rules your gut expects. It doesn't care. Time slows down near massive objects. Nothing can ever truly be at absolute rest. Effects can precede full understanding of their causes at the smallest scales. None of this is comfortable, and none of it is meant to be. The moment you demand the universe conform to your intuition, you've limited what you're capable of discovering. The people who changed how we see everything weren't the ones who forced reality into a familiar shape. They were the ones who let go of familiar shapes altogether. What if everything you've ever seen with your own eyes has been, in some sense, a beautiful lie? Not a lie meant to trick you, a lie meant to help you survive. Your brain didn't evolve to show you truth. It evolved to show you a fast, useful cartoon, good enough to dodge a tiger, find food, raise children. And somewhere along the way, you started mistaking that cartoon for reality itself. I want to talk to you tonight about seeing differently. Not seeing more, seeing differently. Look at your hand. Feels solid, doesn't it? Feels like something you could never push through. But it isn't solid. Not really. It's almost entirely empty space, held together by forces so strange that if I described them honestly, you'd think I was making them up. Underneath everything you call solid, there is a universe behaving in ways that have nothing to do with your intuition, and everything to do with rules nobody fully understands, including the smartest people who ever lived. Here's what nobody tells you growing up. The smartest people who ever lived spent most of their time not knowing things. That was their job. Not knowing, and being okay with it, and chasing the not knowing like it was the most exciting thing in the world. Because it is. You were taught that intelligence means having answers. It doesn't. Intelligence means asking better questions than the person next to you, and having the nerve to say, I don't understand this yet, in a room full of people pretending they do. Think about how strange that is. We reward certainty. We promote the person who sounds sure. We trust the loudest voice in the room. But the universe has never once rewarded certainty. It rewards observation. It rewards doubt. It rewards the person willing to run the experiment one more time because some tiny detail didn't quite add up. Somewhere out there, right now, particles are doing things that break the rules you were taught in school. Something can be two places at once. Something can be connected to another something across a distance so vast that light itself would take years to cross it, and yet they affect each other instantly. Nobody fully knows why, and that's not a failure of science, that is science. Standing in front of something impossible and refusing to look away. You know what the real tragedy is? Most people go their whole lives without ever really looking at anything. They look at a sunset and think pretty. They don't ask what's actually happening. A star 93 million miles away, burning itself into oblivion, sending out light for 8 minutes across empty space, just so it can bounce off molecules in your sky and paint your evening a color you don't have a name for. That's not less beautiful because you understand it. It's more beautiful. Understanding doesn't kill wonder. Not understanding kills wonder. And here's the part that should genuinely shake you. If you can't explain your own field, your own expertise, your own beliefs in plain, simple words a child could follow, you don't actually understand them. You've just memorized the costume. Big words are where small understanding goes to hide. The real thinkers, the ones who changed how humanity sees the universe, could always explain the impossible using words your grandmother would understand. That's not because the ideas were simple, it's because they truly understood them. So here's my question for you tonight. Not what do you know, but what are you still willing to not know? Are you willing to look at something you've believed your whole life and ask honestly, wait, why do I actually believe this? Are you willing to feel the ground shift a little on purpose? Because that shift is where all real understanding begins. The universe doesn't care about your comfort. It never has. It's stranger, bigger, emptier, and more astonishing than anything your gut is prepared to accept. And the moment you stop demanding it makes sense on your terms, that's the moment you finally start to see it. Not the cartoon, not the convenient version, the real thing. So this is the different way of seeing I wanted to leave you with tonight. Reality was never meant to be comfortable, and understanding was never meant to be easy, but both are far more beautiful than the shortcuts we settle for. Question the solid ground beneath you. Doubt the certainty in your own head. Chase the I don't know, instead of running from it. That is where every real discovery, every real growth, every real version of you has ever come from. I want to wish every single one of you good luck. Not the kind of luck that hands you answers, but the kind that gives you the courage to keep asking better questions, long after everyone else has stopped. Thank you for looking at reality with me tonight, even for just a little while. What if I told you that nothing you're looking at right now is actually solid? Not the chair you're sitting on, not the phone in your hand, not even your own skin. Zoom in far enough, and it all disappears into empty space, atoms, spinning around, almost nothing, held together by invisible forces that don't care whether you understand them or not. What if the smartest people who ever lived weren't the ones with all the answers, but the ones brave enough to stand in a room full of confident people and say, I don't know? What if certainty, that comfortable, confident feeling you chase every single day, is actually the exact moment your brain stops growing? Somewhere, right now, tiny particles are doing things that break every rule you ever taught, being in two places at once, affecting each other across distances light itself takes years to cross. Nobody fully understands why. And that's not a flaw in the universe, that is the universe. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this, you're not going to look at anything the same way again. Not your hands, not the sky, not even your own certainty. Because what if the way you've been seeing reality your entire life was never reality at all?